last we left off, Chief and Ceradyn set off to the south of Rexentrum to make their way to Zadash through the heart of the Marrow Valley in the center of Wildmount. The objective: to deliver Chief the Cobalt Soul in Zadash, to ascertain his relation to Illifrid Fizbang. One of the first things the two notice on their journey south, off to the east, where the Ashkeep garrison once stood, is a cratered mountain that stands still smoldering, even some weeks past the falling of the elemental meteor that crashed into it. Cart rolls along at a quite high pace, pulled eternally by the soul crystal powered automatons, the warthogs. Brute and Grunt. Ceradyn, the speed of this cart actually outpaces what you would be able to do flying a straight line. It's pretty impressive. The ride is actually relatively smooth, as an amount of suspension and rubber padding on the wheels has been installed.
Ooh.
But it is heavy. Armored, at least with thick wood. Chief, you sit in the front, guiding Ceradyn. Would you be on his shoulder still, or within the cart?
It's an interesting curiosity, because at first, I imagine, like, when we left, Ceradyn would have tried to feel a gauge until he realized that he would not be able to keep up with this cart. Like, I think he would have been on his shoulder and, like, hopped on his head and been like, you know, for you know, getting a gauge of the speed.
So there's just a bird on Chief's head.
but then, like, realizing but then realizing that he could not keep up with this, like, yeah, I think he would hop down and just ride on his shoulder. I don't know if there'd be much talking, but he would enjoy the company.
Here in the wake of the blizzard that trapped the two of you in the Pearl Bow Wilderness, it is exceptionally cold. Ceradyn, you're comfortable and cold, but this is just a touch beyond what you're really comfortable spending long durations in. Chief, it's not quite cold enough for you to be too demonstrably affected. The road has been cleared, mostly through continuous travel, such that there are a number of paths worn in each direction. At this pace, estimating by the map, take a look.
It is a wee bit chilly out here. Will you be okay, friend, if I go inside?
Certainly. Can't feel it. So yeah.
Let's not fall asleep. For now.
Gotta steer these things somehow.
Yes. All right. And then I'll go in.
Ceradyn, if you recall, there was a fix or change put in place for what had happened, if that was the cause of what was happening. It's one of those things where maybe that component was never meant to be connected.
Yeah, but the person said maybe, so he's still wary.
Okay.
And basically wants to wait until they're not moving at high speeds.
It takes you only a quarter of a day at this speed to make your way to the Amber Crossroads, where passage is quite free. Chief, you might remember the Amber Crossroads from your first travel from Icehaven down to Comorta. You moved through them, and it is a military installation, top to bottom. But it appears that much of the passageway from Rexentrum southward has effectively been cordoned off such that you're effectively moving through a tunnel through the crossroads. Continuing southward. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'll just make sure the pace is slow enough to go through those without causing any trouble.
That's kind of forced upon you as there's a little bit of traffic and presence. So, certainly. You draw an exceptional amount of attention, though, as automaton pulling vehicles are not unheard of, but yours are animaloid on purpose, when that is generally not how things are done. And the overall aesthetic of your cart kind of stands in contrast to most of the other designs of the rest of the carts in Wildmount. Why don't you send those pictures to Cyrnos so he can see?
If you want to throw them in the voice chat.
Oh,
Voice
yeah.
chat. Which I believe, scrolling up, the cart is there, but not the hogs.
Yeah, but I did a new rendition of the cart. Same design.
Yeah.
Just made it my own through an AI thing.
Yep.
Nice.
And the hogs.
The warthogs.
There's only two of
straddling
them.
the yoke. Yeah.
Just two. Okay.
The warthogs straddling the yoke of the cart, pulling it aloft.
Awesome.
A relatively open space in the back. The wood is thick, strong. It could probably take even a small cannonball and continue rolling, which makes it easy to stay warm inside. But there are, beneath benches, chests. There is closed cabinetry above. Pretty well thought out.
Awesome.
You burst out the south side of the Amber Crossroad installation and continue this journey towards Zadash. At this pace, you might be able to get there by the end of day tomorrow. If you travel through the night.
I'm going to look to Master. I'm like, you want to run too?
Kind of perks up, immediately jumps off and starts running alongside. Keeping pace, but it is not easy for Master.
You just hop back in when you need to.
It's a good while before he takes up that offer. Seems to enjoy stretching his legs a little bit. Master in travel mode, Cyrnos, sprints just about like a horse, not about that pace.
Interesting.
I would like a d20 for the day's travel.
Well, that's gonna
You
be.
want to roll or do you want me to?
That'll be on you. I'm gonna hop on my roost point you made me.
Oh, yep.
Inside.
one little peg sticking out of the wall.
It's definitely not gotta be very big.
No.
17.
17. Okay. Oh yeah. The weather, it stays cold. It doesn't improve, but it's clear, and the day does not slow you. Cyrnos, Cerradyn, I imagine the roost you're sitting on is basically like, you know, those hand drills. You took that and then pounded a dowel in. Is that about what it is, Chief, or is it fancier than that?
I think I would have made it more like a bigger version. Like the peg itself would be a thing, but I would probably have made like a little bit bigger version of a birdhouse, so you can go in and just lay down and sleep.
Oh, it's like
Okay.
enclosed?
He's got a house.
Yeah, you got your own
Okay.
little room inside of the cart.
Oh man, that's awesome. Okay.
Sending a message real quick.
There is future plans to add a forge station for Sashim at one point.
Like an external fold-out forge. That'd be really cool.
Something you can pull out from the truck bed, you know.
I'm starting
Go
to
tailgating.
get the visual images of the Goofy movie when their RV like starts to open up.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Love it. I want to see it. Okay. The day's travel goes by without incident. Like I said, Master spends a good 3 hours of that day just running. Something about automaton is that their body doesn't tire in the same way. Rather, when it comes to exertion, they kind of just get bored of whatever task they're doing and decide to do something else. Especially when the soul bound within is a non-synthetic soul, which you know Masters to be. A true soul. Will you be riding through the night or stopping to rest?
Chief would be pushing it through the night,
Okay.
knowing Ceradyn's concern, and with that concern, he's concerned, and he wants to make sure everything's good.
Pressing through the night, the temperature drops, not dangerously so. Master often turns to nudge you and look up at you and just check on you through the night. Ceradyn, I imagine you would have been able to bed early with the intent to also check on Chief multiple times through the night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Just go ahead and make a perception check, please, Ceradyn.
Okay. Perception. 16.
Best you can tell, aside from, you know, he's getting a little sluggish, he seems to be in good working order right now. He hasn't gone to sleep, so you can't attest to that. But aside from being a little tired tomorrow, you should be fine.
Okay.
You come to essentially the same conclusion each time you wake up, 4 or 5 times, you know. From your experience in the Thieves Guild, you're relatively accustomed to a sleeping watch. The morning sun rises, and with it, a slightly warmer day that begins to finally melt some of what has been hard packed on the road. And if you thought you were moving quickly before, this is a slightly even higher pace. As you come out in the morning, Ceradyn, and sit beside or atop Chief. You test with your wings again, And it's like, oh yeah, no, not a chance.
That's funny. I think I would be beside him on the bench coming out.
Okay. Okay. The road stretches out in front of you. Rolling hills obscure the horizon slightly. Can't quite see too far into the distance.
I noticed we made no stop. Are you okay to keep going? Or do you need rest? I don't exactly know how that works for you.
I feel we're not too far off. I think I'm good until we get to town.
Okay.
Which on that note, Chief, you do incur a point of exhaustion. And Ceradyn, I would like you to roll a d20 for the day.
Okay.
Which, by the way, the day before when I rolled the d20 would have been a 16 because I already had 1 point of exhaustion.
These, so like day and encounter things don't take exhaustion into account.
Oh, okay.
18.
An 18. You manage narrowly, the two of you, to make your way to Zadash shortly before nightfall with no incident. You two, you avoided encounters by 1.
Wow.
But, hey, it is what it is. Now, the starting DC for an encounter was 16, and then 17. You guys went 17, 18.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Lucky. The city gates of Zadash are opened to you. As we've discussed before, travel and interactions that have been had multiple times don't necessarily have to be played out again and again. But Ceradyn, since leaving, this is your first time back in Zadash. You know a number of people here. You do have an objective here. But is there anything else you would want to attempt to accomplish?
Let me check something real quick.
Okay. I really wanted to see you guys like run over a band of bandits with the warhawk.
I bet you did.
Tank beats everything.
We got here at nighttime, so shops and stuff are closed.
Just shy of sundown, which given the dead of winter, it's only like 7 o'clock. So things are still open. It's just getting dark.
I want to lead him to the pillow trove, so that we can stay there for the night to hopefully help his rest since he's been up.
Okay, so easily enough. Given it's something you two realize coming to the Tri-Spires, which is the upper class and more fancy area of Zadash. Having automaton pulling a fully covered enclosed cart seems to imply status, such that the Tri-Spires, which are normally not exclusive to the upper class, are opened to you readily. And the course to the Pillow Trove is simple enough.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I take it they're gonna have a stables and everything there where we can park the car.
You imagine.
Yeah.
Yes. A little bit of an interesting note, though. Chief, The hogs do not follow the direction of an unknown driver at this point. As you step off and are essentially trying to allow someone to valet, they just sit and wait.
Just show me where we need to go. I'll help you.
He says, "Oh yes, of course, sir. I am terribly sorry. Maybe, nope. I don't know how to help them. Well," and he steps to the side to allow you back on.
I'll follow his lead and take him to the.
And he does. He takes a rein and kind of helps to guide. With you in the seat, it seems they do listen. Perhaps in the future you'll be able to address that condition, but for now, you are the only one. Parking the stables and walking back to the front to enter the foyer of the Pillow Trove. I'm gonna pull this up.
If you don't mind, if it's okay, I'd like to stay in the same room with you to keep an eye on you throughout the night.
I don't mind.
Okay. Rooms
You've
here.
seen pretty much everything about me now, so.
Well, also, that's true. And also, so as you know, the rooms here are 10 gold apiece. It'll also save us a bit to only have one. And then I will lead you in the morn to see the archivist.
Chief will plop 10 gold down on the counter for the night.
Okay. And as you walk in, this luxurious inn, Chief, your first time seeing it, at least that you can recall. Cylindrical in appearance from the outside, made of marble, from base of pillar to tip of spire. More of a blocky building in the back that houses all of the rooms. The steps lead up to an arched doorway. Walking in, gold and purple pillars line the foyer. Well lit by real candles in hooks on the walls, and a ebony semicircular desk that sits upon the white marble with an incredible contrast. And at the desk, Cerradyn is a familiar half elf, or no, it was a drow for you. Familiar drow woman sits as the attendant and raises her head as the two of you walk up, as Chief slams 10 gold on the table. She goes, "I'm assuming you are looking for a room for the night?"
Good evening. Yes, we would like a room, please.
Of course. Shared. Or
Yes.
no? Of course. She takes the 10 gold, tucks it away into a drawer. Apologies, you look familiar.
Yes, I have
we
been
met?
here. It has been a while, but yes, I've been here.
I have a good eye for faces. I thought I recognized you. Well, I'm happy to serve. Please, if you wouldn't mind. She pulls a key out of the desk and leads you up stairs and up another set of stairs on a third story. This is General Suite, room number 40. Handing you the key.
Thank you.
If there is any need, you could either ring the bell or use the sending stone. Contact me. Enjoy your night. Dismissing herself, the room lies open in front of the two of you.
Going inside, I want to just let Chief know The reason I chose this particular establishment is I know it can recover ailments because there is magic within the rooms for safety and comfort. So I feel more at ease if you were to do your shutdown rest within these walls.
Sounds like a good idea.
Master, who was confined to the stables, given the rules around pets and enormous automaton entering the premises, is actually visible from your room, from the window, resting beside the hogs. Go ahead.
I'll look down. You protect them, okay, Master?
Kind of just sitting with his paws crossed and his head on them.
Does
The night's rest. Oh, go ahead.
he know? Never mind. I don't think I've seen you eat either. Ah. He just turns.
If you look at Chief's mask, there's like no mouth slit. When he talks, it just kind of brightens up.
Yeah,
Yep.
he was gonna ask if Master needed anything like that, but then he's like, no, wait, you don't seem to, so why?
Which, Chief, on that note, you'd know that the source of energy, the nourishment, if you will, or automaton, and even in aormaton bodies like yours, is directly from the soul. There are many functions in a mortal body, a biological body, that are supported by the consumption of food. But the life itself isn't necessarily. The flesh is nourished by food to continue its growth, to shed old skin and grow new, to heal bones, to grow the hair for it to be cut again, the nails, to age. All of those functions don't exist for automaton and aormaton. The necessity for food doesn't exist.
Anticipating the question that Ceradyn was working on and asking, like, neither him or I required nourishment.
Ah, yes, I figured as much as I was about to say something, and I just feel a little silly now.
It's okay.
The
I will
sun
give him some
sets.
metal pieces every now and then to chew on, but that's about it.
Ah, good to know. Does he enjoy that?
We love chewing on metal.
Seems like it.
Good to know.
Like chewing on tinfoil as a kid.
Oh, gosh. No. Why'd you have to say that one? It could have been anything else.
Now my teeth hurt.
Right?
But the sun does set, night falls, and rest does come to the two of you.
Chief's
The night
gonna,
goes-
as he drifts off, he's just gonna be thinking about how he can make it so his companions can drive the cart if need be at some point
Okay.
before he passes,
Just
before he shuts down.
go ahead and just make an Arcana check. See if you can come up with a method.
23.
Wow, okay. So you're pretty certain there's multiple routes that you could take. One of the routes is the fact that there are true souls in those hogs, and they could potentially be reasoned with. The other is more a path of forced servitude through using arcane methods to teach, for lack of a better Word. The carrot and the stick, essentially.
I was thinking maybe with that role, I would come up with a way to teach each person in the group for like 2 to 3 hours on how to handle them, and maybe it's like being attuned to the cart, basically.
Okay. That's very much along the lines of reasoning with the hogs and getting them comfortable.
Would
With new
this
drivers.
functionality extend to master?
I don't know. It's an interesting question.
That is an interesting question.
Because it would be very helpful for my tiny body if I can't wake you.
Based in terms of how the Artificer Battlesmith works during battle, I'm the only one that can control him unless I am incapacitated. Therefore, he can do his own thing. But out of battle situations, I would think we could train him to be a little better.
I mean, it's the same
It's quite
kind of thing as
possible.
the hogs, right? Like there's a soul crystal that are true
Yeah.
souls.
Yeah, I
And
never
if-
thought about that.
Mhm.
If they can be taught or conversed with in
I'll
that
see.
way, then
I'll
that's
ask
why
this,
I asked.
can that be part of my thought process during this time frame of how to help?
Yes, absolutely. Master is not a standard steel defender.
Okay, cool.
But as all of these thoughts swim in your mind, you do fall to unconsciousness, you both, and wake in the morning refreshed, all points of exhaustion cleared. If there are currently any death saves that have not been cleared, they are now. Which I believe, Ceradyn, you still had one.
I
Maybe
did
two.
not.
Oh, okay. Must have been enough nights at this point.
Oh, and that would technically be a long rest through the night, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So any abilities or anything like that needs to be recovered. Full, true, long rest. Ceradyn, to your dismay, you are the first to wake. And you do see Chief lying still.
Oh, well. Now I guess we find out. And I'll hop up close to him on his shoulder. Chief?
Okay.
Are you there? Can you wake on your own?
There is no response.
Question, Ceradyn, where are you standing when you say this?
I am on your shoulder, like, talking at your head.
Like into where the ear would be?
What I would assume is, like...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But no response.
Oh, please. Hello, Chief! And he, like, pecks the side of your head a little bit.
Ting, ting,
The-
ting, ting.
The moment you peck, my head turns directly at you, and the lights on my face go up and go boo.
Okay, I assume this is going to be a roll. Because as my initiate training goes, I'm not supposed to respond to things, but it's still a surprise. How do you want to do
Okay.
this?
I mean, that's a wisdom saving throw.
Is
Your
it?
will and your mental constitution is based in wisdom. So
Okay, so wisdom saving throw. Come on.
not quite with proficiency, as you're still only an initiate. But
Yeah. A 17.
17. I imagine you maintain your composure. Chief, you don't get the reaction you expect.
Ah. Well, at least you woke.
Okay, I'll be right back, guys.
Sorry about that. We may have been able to fix what was the issue,
Were
but
you
we can still go see what.
trying to give me a heart attack?
Wanted to ruffle your feathers.
Oh. I am very glad for some of my training because they are ruffled on the inside, I assure you.
That's good.
Good!
Yeah, I had my wits about me. Kind of.
Well, I'm glad you're awake.
It's a good end to come to. It feels great. And he's gonna, from his arm, his gun's gonna pop out and just start cleaning it. That's just what we're gonna. That's what he's gonna do until Austin comes back.
That's fine.
But there in the morning, an attempt to spook Ceradyn, falling on what appears to be a stoic heart. You don't get the reaction you want, Chief.
And you stepped away, but I'll just let you know. Because
okay.
we talked for a second. I basically was like, were you trying to get a heart attack from me? And it's like, he's like, no, I was just trying to ruffle your feathers. And then I said, you certainly did on the inside.
And now I'm polishing my rifle that pops out of my mouth.
He's cleaning his gun at the moment.
Okay.
So.
Hey, if that's what they're calling it nowadays. But a rest was had without difficulty in waking Chief. Now, whether that's because of the magics that exist here or the repair done by the Enchantress in Rexentrum, you don't know.
Well, shall we be on our way?
Yes, let's go to where you were suggesting, and then I have word of where we need to be.
Oh, that's wonderful. I am excited to see...
See those two again?
Well, more to see how the Archivist responds to you. And then head out.
Yeah. True.
Making your way out of the Pillar Trove and towards the Cobalt Soul, which stands essentially within, but more beside the Tri-Spires. A cerulean blue building, much like the one in Rexentrum, though more of a tower here. Chief, there's a little bit of a pang of recognition. Minor. Subtle. You already know of connection that you have to the Cobalt Reserve, the global organization. But this specifically, it feels familiar.
Something familiar about this place.
I would think so. Let us go in.
Yes.
A pair of attendants sit at the door, and upon looking at you, Cerradyn, immediately lean in and open it. Though your brand is concealed, it is known. And you do make your way inside. Inside, immediately, Chief, flanking the two walls, rows and rows of literature, books, research, and knowledge, just as you'd expect of a temple to Ioun. Make your way back.
Yes, and I want to take him past the statue on the way.
All right. Chief, just go ahead and make a perception check.
dirty 20.
Nice.
As you move deeper down the hall, and other sections branch off, here in this main hall, after the initial collection of knowledge, there is a series of busts and full-bodied statues and portraits of long-past archivists, expositors, and arcanists. And you do spot, Chief, a full-bodied statue of a gnome standing in an almost tropic pose, like a mage would for a statue, with a plaque beneath it, inscribed in blue, Illifrid Fizbang, High Arcanist of the Cobalt Reserve.
I feel Chief would be staring at it for a good minute before motioning and thinking, like, kind of imagining in his head of him holding his arms the same way the statue is, but realizing
Not actually doing it, or
not actually doing it. But
oh, okay. There's a
It's
little
like
bit of
one of those
motion where
things-
it's like, yeah.
it's like if you're looking at someone that's like kind of wants to do something but don't.
Mhm. Yep.
That's the motion.
Don't even need an insight check.
Yeah.
Here, no, or Cerradyn, you know exactly what's going
I'm just entertained. I'm enjoying this at the moment.
on.
We should keep going down to where you're taking me.
Certainly, whenever you're ready.
As we go, I do want to see if I spot any name plaques of Lily.
Her visage would be easily distinguishable from anything else that's posted here. There is nothing of the sort.
I'll just keep following Ceradyn, keeping my eye out if there is anything on the way, but
Okay.
Yep.
Cerradyn, are you taking him where specifically?
I want to take him to Archivist Udon.
Archivist Udon. Okay. Going to the same set of doorways that both hold the ritual chamber for Sands of Descendancy, as well as right next to that doorway, Archivist Udon's office. The door sits cracked ajar, and you can hear a discussion inside, vaguely.
I would just knock on the door.
Okay. It takes a moment. A sentence is completed, and then, yes, please enter.
All right. Go ahead, Chief.
And
I'm on his shoulders,
Chief,
so
if you're able to press open the door and step inside. The door swings open, and what is a humble office but is packed to the brim with scrolls, mid-interpretation, and record. It's a little haphazard, but you can tell a good amount of work gets done here. What you see, Chief, for the first time is an Aarakocra, but an owl-type Aarakocra. So if you were to imagine Ceradyn turned barn owl instead of snow owl, and standing at a height of about 5'9", 5'10". He says, "My, Cerradyn, I do not recognize your friend."
Hello, Artificer Studon. This is Chief, of which we discussed.
Yes.
You
And
may
he sets a sending stone down on the desk.
You may also know him as Illifrid Fizbane.
His face is unchanged, but looks to you intently. This is not something I expected to hear.
I did not think so.
So, Chief, who are you?
It has come to my attention that I am who Ceradyn has told you I am. Though I don't remember how I've gotten into this body or how long I've been in this. But I am Illifrid. But I go by Chief.
How much do you know of Illifrid Fizbane, Cerradyn?
Not much myself. I recognized the name upon my last visit, and upon him describing events that happened to him, I put two and two together.
Please step in and shut the door.
Certainly.
I'll shut the door behind us.
There are not really chairs in here to take a seat, but it does seem to be private. His arms folded, looking now at both of you, kind of up and down. The circumstances around the disappearance of Illifrid Fizbane, as well as the emergence of the Cult of the White Skull at the same time, and reports of members of the upper echelons of the Cult of the White Skull possessing traits of the mercurial mind, led us to believe that he had betrayed Ioun.
Turning to look at Chief, and then back
Chief,
at
this kind of
Archivist.
This kind of falls on you, and you honestly have no idea what he's talking about. If this is something that happened, you have not re-experienced it yet, but you really don't feel like that's what's going on.
I can tell you I honestly don't remember the exact circumstances or anything of that nature, what happened when I was now turned into this. But as far as going against or turning away from Ioun, I serve her still.
I can
With,
feel her mark on you.
With the Watchers, correct?
That is correct.
Drawn to her even in a second life.
Seems to be the case.
As he exhales, you see a tension in his body, the muscles that were rippling relax. And even a slight aura of energy on his hands disperses.
I am trying to learn what happened and how it happened.
And how have you been doing this?
I have a friend that I met in Kamorda. He is helping me dive into my own memories. Hopefully, after this last few weeks of experience, maybe his dives will be a little bit more fruitful. But he has shown me a room with a hand out pushing me or shooting, what would you say, green beams at me, I think it
Yeah,
was.
it's like a sickly blackish green beam that connects with you, and that's when your memory ends.
So, on that information, I can only assume the person who caused my disappearance has some knowledge of the arcane.
But you are not a waking remembrance of Illifrid. You are chief.
I am chief. I know what I know through his help and through some help from Owlin herself.
Ceradyn. Owlin had tasked you with seeking him out. Is that correct?
Yes.
This may be why. I would admonish that this task continues. Your primary mission may be to get to the bottom of what has happened.
I agree. It seems most pertinent.
There is a gathering storm. As chosen and champions arise, congregate. It is usually because something is coming, something is happening. And the gods are often aware of it long before we are. I would have many questions of you, Chief, or Illifrid. But they may need to wait. I get the sense you are both only passing through. Is that correct?
That is correct. We made a stop here on behalf of Cerradyn on our way to where our comrades are.
And these are the comrades you spoke of, Cerradyn.
Correct.
I feel Owlin's guidance around us. I do not hold any dubious concerns for our old and new friend. I trust your judgment.
I have a question for you.
Please.
What ever became of Lily?
Disappeared at the same time you did. The two of you had been tasked with hunting down an artifact. The same artifact, as he turns to you, Ceradyn, that your parents sought. And that's where we're going to end the session.
Ooh.